When you walk into a room, people read you before you ever speak. Your presence, your tone, and your behavior tell a silent story about who you are. Looking expensive isn't about money, brands, or labels. It's about elegance, restraint, confidence, and how you carry yourself when no one's watching. These behaviors make people stop, notice, and respect you without you having to ask for it. Elegant behavior is quiet confidence, not loud attention seeking. It is the kind of presence that makes people stop and look without you having to fight for their attention. Most people think confidence is about being seen, being heard, or being the most noticeable person in the room. But elegant confidence is the opposite. It is calm, steady, and self-assured. It doesn't need approval, it doesn't need validation, and it doesn't need an audience. When you carry yourself with quiet confidence, people feel it before they even understand why. You walk without rushing because you are not trying to prove anything. You speak with intention because you have nothing to compete with. You move with ease because your worth isn't tied to how many people notice you. Loud people may draw attention for a moment, but quiet confidence keeps attention for much longer. It feels more powerful, more controlled, and more self-respecting. There is something magnetic about someone who doesn't need to be the center of everything. When everyone else is trying to be seen, the person who doesn't chase attention stands out naturally. Elegant behavior is knowing that your presence is enough. You don't need to show off, exaggerate, or brag. You don't need drama, loudness, or shock value to make people respect you. You can walk into a room, say very little, and still shift the atmosphere. That is what quiet confidence does. It signals that you know who you are and that you are not in competition with anyone. And the truth is, people trust confidence that doesn't try too hard. Quiet confidence is also emotional discipline. You don't react to everything. You don't let people pull you into arguments, chaos, or negativity. You don't blow up when you're angry. You don't panic when you're stressed. And you don't let small people provoke big reactions out of you. When you remain calm, steady, and unmoved, you show that your emotions are not in the hands of other people. That is expensive energy. It makes you look grounded and in control. Elegant behavior is choosing peace instead of proving a point. It is letting your silence speak louder than someone else's disrespect. It is knowing when to walk away instead of trying to win a conversation that isn't worth your time. Quiet confidence also shows up in the way you speak. You don't rush your words, you don't interrupt people, and you don't need to dominate the conversation. Confident people listen just as much as they talk. They don't speak just to fill space. They speak when they have something valuable to add. People who lack confidence often overtalk because they are trying to convince others of their importance. People with quiet confidence don't need to. Their presence already communicates it. When you speak calmly, slowly, and with intention, people take your words more seriously. Your voice carries weight because you don't waste it. Even body language reveals quiet confidence. Elegant people don't fidget, overexpress, or move nervously. They make eye contact without staring, sit upright without stiffness, and take up space without trying to dominate the room. They are comfortable in their own skin. When your body language says you feel safe with yourself, others see you as powerful without you ever having to announce it. Confidence seen through calm behavior is far more attractive than confidence performed through loudness. Loud people try to prove. Quietly confident people already know. Loud people demand recognition. Quietly confident people earn it effortlessly. Loud confidence feels insecure. Quiet confidence feels expensive because it shows self-respect, self-trust, and emotional maturity. When you learn to carry yourself with elegance, calmness, and quiet power, you command a different kind of attention, the kind you never had to chase. Looking expensive comes from self-respect in how you speak, move, and respond, because elegance always shows in the details. Anyone can wear something nice, but not everyone knows how to present themselves with dignity. Self-respect is the foundation of an expensive presence. It starts with the way you talk to yourself, the way you talk to others, and the way you allow others to treat you. When you respect yourself, you stop accepting energy that feels cheap. You stop lowering your standards just to fit in. You stop entertaining people who drain you. Your behavior becomes selective, intentional, and elevated, and people can sense that before you ever say a word. Self respect is visible in your voice. You speak thoughtfully instead of carelessly, with clarity instead of chaos. You don't talk over others, and you don't let others talk over you. You don't yell to prove a point because you don't need volume to have power. You use calm words, strong boundaries, and direct communication. People who respect themselves don't speak in a way that embarrasses them later. They don't gossip because they don't need to drag others down to feel higher. They don't complain loudly because they would rather find solutions than seek attention. Their communication is clean, confident, and classy. That is expensive behavior because it shows emotional control and maturity. Self-respect is also visible in how you move. An elegant person doesn't rush everywhere as if they're always behind. They walk with purpose, not panic. They sit with poise, not stiffness. They move with intention, not insecurity. When you respect yourself, you give your body dignity. You don't slump, shrink, or make yourself small. You don't hide your presence. You exist comfortably in your space, and when you do that, people notice. They see confidence without you having to announce it. Your posture, your pace, your gestures, even your stillness, all communicate a message about how you feel about yourself. Self-respect shows up in how you respond to people as well. You don't argue with disrespect. You don't fight for attention. You don't chase anyone to validate you. Instead, you pause, you think, and you choose the response that protects your peace. When someone tries to provoke you, you don't explode. When someone tries to test you, you don't fall into their trap. When someone tries to make you feel small, you don't shrink. You stay calm, direct, and unbothered. That is expensive energy. People who do not respect themselves react instantly because they feel threatened. People with self-respect take a breath, stay steady, and respond from strength. It's not about winning the moment, it's about keeping your dignity. Even your boundaries communicate self-respect. You say no when something doesn't align. You walk away from conversations that drain you. You distance yourself from people who treat you poorly. You protect your time, your energy, and your mental space. When you stop letting everyone have access to you, you become rarer, and anything rare feels valuable. Your presence becomes something people have to earn, not something you hand out freely. That alone makes you look more elevated than any outfit ever could. Looking expensive isn't about perfection, it's about intention. It's about showing that you value yourself enough to carry yourself with discipline, calmness, and grace. You are not hurried, not chaotic, not desperate for approval. You speak with respect. You move with presence. You respond with wisdom. When you treat yourself like someone worth respecting, others follow. They offer you better behavior, better opportunities, and better treatment, not because you asked, but because your energy demands it. Self-respect is the real luxury. When you have it, you don't need labels to prove your worth. You upgrade your presence when you master emotional control, not fancy accessories, because nothing looks more expensive than a person who stays calm while everyone else loses their balance. Emotional control is a silent luxury. It separates the classy from the chaotic, the powerful from the reactive, the elegant from the impulsive. Most people think looking expensive is about appearance, but the truth is, the most impressive people are the ones who hold themselves together when life tries to pull them apart. Anyone can look polished when things are easy. Emotional control shows when things get difficult, uncomfortable, or triggering. The way you handle pressure, disrespect, or discomfort tells people everything they need to know about your character. When you stay composed, you look powerful. When you stay calm, you look in control. That energy feels expensive without saying a single word. Emotional control means you respond instead of react. You don't let your feelings drive the car. You let your mind take the wheel. You pause before you speak. You think before you act. And you don't give temporary emotions permanent consequences. People who control their emotions move differently. They don't explode because someone pushed a button. They don't get loud because someone tried to intimidate them. They don't panic because life got unpredictable. They breathe, evaluate, and then respond. That calmness makes them look untouchable. It shows they're not ruled by anger, insecurity, or ego. Losing control looks cheap. Keeping control looks expensive. Even in disagreements, emotional control is visible. You don't argue with every disrespectful statement. You don't clap back at every insult. You don't let someone else's chaos pull you out of your character. When someone tries to provoke you and you refuse to engage, you immediately elevate yourself above the situation. You show that your respect isn't for sale and your emotions are not free. The person who can stay calm while others raise their voice is the person who actually has the power. That is elegance. That is class. That is what makes people look at you differently. Emotional control also means not oversharing your feelings with people who haven't earned access to your inner world. You don't vent to everyone. You don't tell your problems to anyone who will listen. You don't let strangers or acquaintances know when you're hurting, stressed, or insecure. Privacy looks expensive. Mystery looks expensive. When you keep your personal life protected, you give yourself dignity. People don't get to see you break down easily. People don't get to see you crumble. You handle your emotions privately, calmly, and with intention. That silence makes your presence look stronger. Even happiness is part of emotional control. You don't brag when things are going well because real confidence doesn't need announcement. You celebrate quietly, work quietly, and grow quietly. Loud success looks insecure. Quiet success looks powerful. When you don't need to prove anything to anyone, you look like someone who has already won. People respect you more when you don't make your emotions public entertainment. Your reactions tell people your worth. When someone tries to disrespect you and you stay composed, you show that they don't have the power to shake you. When life gets stressful and you keep your inner peace, you show you trust yourself. When others expect you to fall apart and you choose calm strength instead, you show you are built differently. That stability makes you stand out without needing attention, labels, or status. It makes people treat you with caution, respect, and admiration. Emotional control is the signature of an elegant person who knows their value. And nothing makes you look more expensive than mastering yourself instead of letting emotions control your world. Luxury is the energy you walk with, not the price on your outfit, because people remember your presence long after they forget what you were wearing. Someone can put on the most expensive clothes in the world, but if they walk with insecurity, desperation, or loudness, the illusion breaks instantly. True elegance comes from how you carry yourself when no one announces you. It is in the way you enter a room, the way you sit, the way you look at people, the way you speak, and the way you behave when you think no one is paying attention. Expensive energy is calm, collected, and confident. It does not chase approval, it does not beg to be noticed, and it does not look around to see who is watching. It moves like it belongs wherever it stands. When your energy is aligned with self-worth, the world feels it before you ever open your mouth. This type of presence is built from the inside. It has nothing to do with labels or brands. You can wear something simple and still look like someone who takes care of herself, someone who values herself, someone who respects herself. That inner confidence shows in the way you walk. You don't rush, you don't shuffle, you don't move like you are apologizing for taking up space. You take your time, you move with intention, and you don't allow anxiety to control your body language. People who walk with purpose look high value even in basic clothing. It's not about being seen, it's about being felt. The most expensive looking people are often silent but strong, graceful but firm, confident but humble, present but not desperate for attention. Even your face communicates luxury, not in the sense of makeup or perfection, but in expressions. Elegant people don't look irritated, tense, or restless for no reason. They have a calm face, relaxed shoulders, and steady eyes. They maintain a soft expression that shows emotional control. They don't look like life is defeating them every second. They don't let stress scream from their body language. When your expression shows peace, people automatically assume your life is stable and your world is in order. That is expensive energy. The ability to look composed even when life is messy is a skill most people never master, and that is why those who do stand out immediately. Your voice also carries luxury. You don't talk too fast. You don't talk too loud. You don't dominate conversations just to feel relevant. You speak clearly, slowly, and intentionally. You allow silence without feeling uncomfortable. People who rush their words look nervous. People who speak calmly look confident. When you talk with measured tone and thoughtful pauses, you sound more intelligent, more in control, and more self-respecting. You don't need to be the loudest in the room when your energy already communicates authority. Expensive energy is also silent confidence in how you treat others. You don't show off cruelty. You don't belittle people to feel superior. You don't brag about what you have or who you know. Real luxury doesn't step on others to feel tall. It treats everyone with respect because it doesn't need to prove anything. When you show kindness without arrogance, strength without ego, and confidence without competition, people see you differently. They see dignity. They see class. They see someone who doesn't need validation to feel valuable. You can always tell who carries real elegance when a problem happens. Some people panic, complain, or blame everyone around them. Someone who carries expensive energy looks for solutions. They stay calm, they stay focused, and they don't dramatize everything. They understand that reacting emotionally only makes things worse. When you carry yourself this way, people trust you, they listen to you, and they respect you without you ever demanding it. Everything about expensive energy is subtle but powerful. You don't need to dress loud to draw attention. You don't need to show labels to prove status. You don't need to perform confidence to convince people you have it. Your presence already speaks for you. When you master that inner strength, the outside becomes effortless. People assume you live a life of quality because you move like someone who knows her worth, and that impression cannot be bought with anything you can wear. The most elegant people impress through composure, not performance, because real confidence doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. Anyone can act confident. Anyone can fake luxury. Anyone can talk big about who they are and what they have. But composure is different. It is not something you can pretend for long. It shows up in the moments where most people would break. It shows in pressure, conflict, disappointment, criticism, and uncertainty. When you can stay steady in those moments, you don't just look confident, you look expensive. Performance tries to convince people. Composure makes people believe without a single word. When someone insults you, tries to embarrass you, or attempts to get a reaction, composure is choosing not to give them the satisfaction. Most people will defend themselves loudly or argue to prove a point. Elegant people don't need the last word. They don't lower themselves to match disrespect. They understand that silence can be louder than anger. Walking away with your dignity is more impressive than winning a pointless argument. When you stay calm, you send a message that their words are not strong enough to shake you. That is real power, the kind that can't be faked. Composure also shows when plans fall apart or life throws stress your way. Anyone can look elegant when everything is perfect. Class is revealed in chaos. When others panic and you stay focused, you stand out. When others complain and you look for solutions, people trust you. When others break down and you hold yourself together, you look like someone who is mentally strong. The world respects the person who can handle pressure without turning dramatic. That calm energy makes you look rare. Most people are emotionally reactive. A composed woman is unforgettable. Even success shows a difference between performance and composure. Some people brag, show off, and need everyone to know when they achieve something. Elegant people don't do that. They celebrate with humility. They don't use their success to make others feel smaller. They don't need applause to feel proud. They let their results speak. Quiet success is more powerful than loud success because it shows confidence without insecurity. When you don't have to prove anything, people assume you have even more than you show. In conversations, composure makes you appear intelligent and in control. You don't interrupt, you don't yell, you don't overshare. You talk with clarity, brevity, and purpose. You don't need to dominate the room or outshine others. When someone disagrees with you, you don't crumble or get defensive. You listen, respond thoughtfully, and keep your tone steady. That level of self-control is rare. People respect a calm mind more than a loud mouth. Composure adds value to every word you say because you don't waste your voice. Composure is also choosing peace over proving people wrong. You don't need revenge, you don't need validation, and you don't need to show your power. You just move forward. You outgrow situations instead of fighting them. You outclass people instead of correcting them. You let your life upgrade while their opinions stay behind. Holding your dignity when someone tries to pull you into negativity is one of the most elegant things a person can do. Nothing looks more expensive than emotional stability. A woman who doesn't break easily, doesn't argue unnecessarily, and doesn't panic under pressure looks like she has a life of quality and control. People start treating you differently. They speak to you with respect. They think twice before trying to test you. They know you are not someone who can be shaken or manipulated. Performance needs attention. Composure needs nothing. Performance tries to show class. Composure proves it. True elegance is not loud, dramatic, or desperate to be noticed. It's in the calm voice, the steady eye contact, the quiet confidence, the graceful silence, and the way you protect your peace in a world that wants reactions. That kind of presence makes you look powerful, rare, and undeniably expensive.